I'm joined here with Dwayne Clayden, and he is a Canadian author. Now, you recently released your newest novel, Speargrass Opioid. Can you give a bit of background into this book?
Yeah, so my background is I was a police officer and a paramedic for 40 years, and the last few years I was on a First Nation. And so I got to see, I'm not an expert on it by any means, but I was involved in emergency services. I got to see what was happening. And the biggest problem was the opioid crisis. And so I had firsthand experience with that. I backed up the paramedic crews when they went to overdoses. And I like the TV show Longmire. I don't know if you've ever watched Longmire. Sheriff said in Wyoming. And in my writer's head, the two kind of came together. And thought, well, I should write a story based on the opioid crisis that involves a First Nation.
Now, this novel goes into a bit of a different direction than your other books. What were some of the biggest inspirations for it?
Well, just from what I saw on the First Nation, and the opioid crisis is hitting everybody everywhere, and it's kind of got lost with COVID-19, and COVID-19 is horrible, but the opioid crisis is ongoing, and there's probably tens of hundreds of people dying each day across Canada from it. So the experience came from being on those calls. So going and seeing the overdoses and working with the paramedics and fighting to save somebody's life. And there's a drug that will reverse the opioid, but you have to get there right away. And if you don't, the chances of having a successful resuscitation are slim. And so I wanted to show that a little bit too, that recovery is not automatic. Sometimes on the TV medical shows, everybody lives no matter what the injury is, 12 seconds of CPR and the eyes open and they start breathing again. And that's not the reality of it. It's unfortunately more dismal than that. And it's not that the book is necessarily dismal, but I think it portrays accurately what is happening right now.
Like you mentioned that you were used to be on the scene, and does that play into a lot of your writing in each one of your novels?
Yeah, absolutely. In the other series, the Brad Coulter series, it follows a police officer through his career. And so that's based on either experiences I had or things that actually had happened in Calgary that I weaved my own story around. And then Speargrass especially, a lot of that is absolutely personal experience. I was there for those resuscitations. I was there for those crises.
You write a lot of thrillers and crime thrillers, so what drew you into those?
Well, I think when I started writing in 2010, the adage is you write what you know. And after 40 years in emergency services, that's what I knew. I kind of know it inside, upside down, and backwards. And so when you're starting out to write, that seemed to be the easiest thing. And especially in Crisis Point, the first book, those were experiences that I had. So I could tell the story from the heart. I could also tell it from the realistic side, having been there. So little things like the banter that goes on in the police cruiser between two partners. I mean, you're with your partner more than you're with your spouse or significant other. And so you just kind of chirp at each other, you know the buttons to push, and you just do that. And then when there's a bad incident, all that's forgotten, and you back each other up 100%. So I try to bring that realism to it, and then in the stories also add what paramedics do. In like on TV shows, somebody gets shot. If it's a police drama, the ambulance comes, the ambulance goes. That's it. Whereas in my novels, the paramedics are characters. So you get to know them as a character. You get to know them the same as you know the police officer partners. And then you get to see what treatments the paramedics do and their fights to keep somebody alive, or the things that they need to do, the decisions they have to make.
And with the Speargrass opioid book, are you hoping that maybe what comes from this could be a future series?
Oh, yeah, definitely. In my mind, I probably have 3 more novels that'll spin out of it. And so far, Speargrass has been getting 5-star ratings on Amazon. I've been getting emails from people saying they loved it, they couldn't put it down. So I'm working on another novel right now, but probably Speargrass Casino will be the next book in this series that I'll start working on probably in November.
Oh, that's awesome. And if anyone is looking to get the book, where can they go?
Okay, the best place to find the book, if you're in Calgary, you can find it at Owl's Nest Books in Calgary. And for anywhere else, if you're looking for an ebook or a paperback book, Amazon is the place to go. And especially for ebook, you can have that book in your hands in a couple minutes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Dwayne.
Oh, thank you very much. My pleasure. Have a great day.